July 11 edition of PFT OT, 2 weeks away from the return of PFT Live to Peacock, Sirius XM 85, Sky Sports, and wherever you get your podcasts or however you digest your NFL information. And there's so much out there. We appreciate you giving us some of your time. I'm not going to go nearly as long as I did on Friday. Friday was like an hour. See, if I skip a day, I feel guilty when it's time to do it again. So I end up talking longer. I know it would be better to just do a half hour a day instead of an hour every other day. So with that said, my goal is to do at most a half hour a day, which means, of course, I've now destined myself to be prattling on 60 minutes from now. Let's get to it. At some point today, the button will be pressed by both the NFL and the NFL Players Association's lawyers, sending their written briefs to Judge Sue L. Robinson in the Deshaun Watson case. Today's the day that she identified at the end of the hearing, 11 days ago, that the parties will submit their normal, customary post-hearing briefs. This happens all the time. In a situation like this, where it's kind of an arbitration, even though it's a former federal judge, she's the one that was hired by the league and the union to resolve these issues as to whether or not a player should be disciplined, and if so, for how long. She wanted the briefs today. She will then take them and she will render a decision. I don't think it'll be a quick decision. She won't want it to be a quick decision. She needs people to think she took enough time. She may already know what she's going to do, but she's going to want people to think she took enough time to do it. She's going to want to read this information very carefully. And usually what happens is you'll see a lot of the concepts from the brief submitted by the party that wins end up being reflected in her final decision. And ultimately, we will have, hopefully, a written decision that we can all read and digest and understand. The league needs that. Good luck reconciling it with the absolute lack of transparency in the Washington investigation. But of course, what they would say is, well, there's no one here that requested anonymity. There's no one who requested to be anonymous. And of course, if someone did ask to be anonymous, all you got to do is change their name, not completely hide everything. They need the information to come out here. They need people to understand what happened in this case. If there's going to be a punishment that falls far short of what the NFL has asked for, indefinite suspension of at least 1 year, they need people to be able to buy in, to understand, to get it. If at the end of the day, Judge Robinson decides the 4-game or a 6-game suspension. Now, the parties can work out a settlement between now and whenever she issues her decision, or after she issues her decision. That's still on the table. People still are confused by that. How can this be? It happens. It happens. Anytime that you see the announcement of discipline on a player with an acknowledgement that the player is waiving his appeal rights, that is a different way of saying we've reached an agreement. We have a settlement. We've compromised. We've negotiated. That can still happen here at any time. And there's nothing untoward about it. See, the problem is, this case is attracting so much attention from people who don't really pay attention otherwise to the NFL disciplinary process. You have a lot of people popping off on either side of this issue. The pro-Deshaun, anti-Deshaun side, whatever it is. Well, why is that? Why is that? That shouldn't be. And at some point, people just have to ignore the noise and do what they think is right and move this thing forward. And that's what will happen as of today. Written briefs submitted. Judge Robinson takes it all under advisement. I think July 25 is when the window really opens, with the possibility that on Friday, July 22, maybe if Judge Robinson is clued into the whole Friday afternoon bad news dump, maybe we get a ruling. That help. Maybe we get it on Saturday night, the 23rd. That was what the NFL did when it decided to mobilize its forces to make sure people knew that the Deshaun Watson hearing was coming. So either way, a decision is coming, barring a settlement that can happen either before or after the decision. And remember, if any discipline at all is imposed on Deshaun Watson, either side can appeal to the commissioner, who has final say, but he is bound by the findings of fact made by Judge Robinson.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.